Oh, the age-old saga of being ghosted but still got Wi-Fi. She left you on read, and now you're sitting there, looking like someone just drop-kicked your self-esteem into next week, wondering where you misplaced the user manual for your dignity. You stare at your phone like it's gonna whisper some cosmic truth. Why, oh goddess of the silent treatment, have you left me in the purgatory of seen but ignored? And the real kicker. You keep trying. Like a puppy chasing its tail, you're out here sending texts, reacting to her stories, tagging her in memes like you're delivering roses to a funeral. And her? She hits you with a lol so dry it could start a wildfire. Yet you think you're killing it, being all sweet, showing interest. Nah, bro. You're just an extra in the blockbuster of her ego, busting your ass like a waiter serving up compliments at her vanity buffet. Here's the real problem. It's not that you don't love yourself. It's that nobody told you women don't lose interest when you vanish. They lose it when you're always there, like that sad office plant. Predictable, needy, and impossible to ignore because it's always wilting in the corner. But hold up, Drama King. Take a deep breath. This clown show ends today. Today you learn that egos don't crumble with long-winded rants. They fall with silence. You're not out for revenge. You're about to disappear. Let her talk to her own reflection, wondering where she lost her grip. Because nothing stings an inflated ego like the sound of indifference, pure, deafening silence. Before you start thinking you're ready to morph into this cool magnetic mystery man, do the bare minimum. Like this video, subscribe, and drop a thanks in the comments. Not for me, but so the algorithm knows you're done being her doormat. Now, let's get to the classy carnage. Number 1. Her silence is a test. Oh, her silence. Deeper than the hole in your self-respect right now. Let's get real, my emotionally frazzled friend. When a woman ghosts you, she's not busy, confused, or going through it. She's sizing you up with the cold precision of someone picking produce at the grocery store. You're the generic bag of rice. Cheap, basic, easily swapped out. She's waiting to see what you'll do with the cold shoulder she handed you like it's a Michelin star dish. You gonna chase her? Send that pathetic, "Hey, you good?" text with sad puppy vibes? Play her emotional therapist like you're on call 24/7? Congrats, you just became her free entertainment on girls' night. Her silence is the ultimate test of your emotional backbone. Spoiler alert. She's got her red pen out, ready to scribble fail in giant letters. Every text you send, every story you react to, is another point docked in the exam of desperation. More proof you don't know your own worth. But if, by some miracle of self-control, you hit back with ice-cold indifference, that "I'm too busy living my best life without you" energy, that's when the magic happens. Doubt creeps into her mind. She starts wondering, wait, where's my emotional fanboy? Why'd he stop chasing? That doubt, my guy, is like nails on the chalkboard of her ego. Think ignoring her back is petty? Nah, champ. Petty is begging for scraps from someone who treats you like a buffet side dish. Ignoring her is survival. It's having a spine. It's saying, if you don't want all of me, you don't get any of me. She started the game when she ghosted, but whether you walk away a winner or a clown, that's on you. Number 2, her ego feeds on your attention. Let's get one thing straight. You're not romantic. You're predictable. You're not thoughtful. You're desperate. And the gap between those two is what separates a guy who's intriguing from a human doormat for her ego. She doesn't even have to try. All she does is exist. Posts a story with a coffee and some moody song in the background, and boom, there you go, hard-eyeing it, dropping compliments, starting convos like she just left you a treasure map to her heart. Newsflash, she didn't. She's just alive, and that's enough for you to sprint like you're in the Desperation Olympics, gunning for gold. You're feeding her ego like a Michelin star chef at an all-you-can-eat validation buffet, dishing out compliments, attention, availability, All free, no strings, no hint of reciprocity required. She doesn't reply. You double down. She treats you like her backup plan. You hit her with a, "Haha, you good?" and a needy emoji smile. What happens? She doesn't value you. She shelves you. You become the classic if all else fails guy, the one she pings when her ego needs a quick boost. Sends a "hey stranger" to check if you're still hanging on like a dusty picture frame she doesn't love but won't toss. And the saddest part? You reply. Lightning fast, like a loyal soldier of unrequited attention, handing over your whole self without her lifting a finger. Congrats, you're now the universal donor of emotional validation. Here's the deal, attention is currency. If you're tossing it around like spare change at a bodega, nobody's gonna take you seriously. No woman respects a guy who sells himself short for a "hey." They respect presence, distance, that rare vibe that screams, "My attention's a prize, not a free sample." So, if you want to leave a mark, stop feeding the ego of someone who's never fed you anything but silence. Shut down the buffet, cut the supply, and watch how fast that "hey stranger" comes with a side of thirst, doubt, and actual interest. Her ego only grows because you're watering it. Want to take it down? Turn off the hose and let her garden wilt. Number 3, the fatal mistake, reacting. Want to know where it all goes south? The second you react. Yup, king of emotional chaos. It's that exact moment when she ghosts you and you fire back with a "you okay?" that you sign your surrender papers. She didn't even have to say "I'm not interested" because her silence was a neon "get lost" sign and you acted like it was a secret love note. You think you're being mature, trying to work things out? Nope. You're being predictable, fragile, and painfully desperate. Sending memes, songs, good morning texts with sunny emojis, like you're gonna resurrect a convo she buried, burned, and scattered the ashes of at sea. The result? You're demoted to a side character in her emotional soap opera. The guy who pops up only when she needs an ego boost. The court jester, the magician who makes his own dignity vanish for a crumb of her attention. And her. She feels what you feel when a dog begs for table scraps, pity mixed with contempt. Never, ever respect. Because a woman might toy with a desperate guy, but she craves the unpredictable one, the one who doesn't react, the one who vanishes, the one who offers the luxury of mystery, not the tragedy of clinginess. Every time you react, you're screaming, "I'm still yours." And she's thinking, "Cool, I've got my loyal fanboy, my one-man hype squad." Meanwhile, you're digging your self-esteem's grave with a teaspoon of neediness. Want to flip the script? Stop reacting. Stop playing the extra in her drama. Disappear. Become a question mark that bugs her more than a lull in the middle of a fight. Women hate not knowing if they still hold the reins. So give her the gift of doubt. And before you slide back into that quicksand of unearned attention, check this. The digital book in the description isn't a miracle, it's a wake-up call. A manual for self-respect for guys tired of being an emotional punching bag. You want to stay the fool who reacts to every breadcrumb, or become the man who only moves for real value, not illusions. Time to choose. React like a boy, or act like a man. The respect that only comes to those who shut up and vanish. Number 4, the art of ghosting with swagger. Disappear. Yup. Vanish like you've realized your voice is too valuable for someone who doesn't deserve the echo. But hold up. This isn't that petty block and stalk from a burner account nonsense. That's low-budget soap opera vibes. It's childish, craving attention while pretending it's pride. Ghosting with swagger, my man, is a whole different beast. It's exiting the stage without trashing the set. It's pulling your presence out from under her like a magician, yanking the tablecloth smooth, silent, and with a smirk that says you finally realized you were the star of a story where she was just a glamorous extra. No long rants. No, just so you know I'm out speeches. You just fade. Gone from her stories. Gone from her likes. Gone from her notifications. And most importantly, gone from her headspace. Because as long as you were chasing, she was winning. But when you vanish with style, she loses her crown, her stage, her audience. Ghosting with swagger is looking at her mind games and saying, I'm done playing because I grew up, and you're still stuck fishing for likes to feel something. When she checks her phone expecting your name to pop up, what does she get? Silence, indifference, emptiness. The same void you felt when she ghosted you, except now it's got the sweet taste of poetic justice. No need to broadcast your exit. Just vanish like she became irrelevant. Because, let's be real, that's exactly what she worked so hard to prove to you. And no, this isn't cruel. It's self-worth. It's emotional IQ. It's refusing to crawl for someone who wouldn't lift a finger for you, even if the floor was covered in broken glass. And the best part? Her ego starts to crack in that silence. A woman who thought she was the sun in your solar system can't handle being eclipsed. When you ghost with swagger, you don't get revenge, you teach. You show that a real man doesn't beg, doesn't grovel, doesn't linger. He just dips. Period. And that, my friend, is where the real comeback begins. Number 5, the 10-second takedown. And look who's back, right on cue. Like a scene from a cheesy rom-com, she slides in. Out of nowhere. Drops a "Hey, stranger," like she accidentally tripped over her nostalgia. Reacts to your story with a flirty emoji. Tries to spark a convo with that "I know you're my backup plan" energy. This is where most guys fumble in their desperation. They rush to reply, throw in an emoji, get all hyped, start dreaming again. Like a "hey" after weeks of silence is the cure for the emotional beatdown she put you through. It's not. It's just another cheap trick from her ego's playbook. A test to see if the leash still fits. Enter the 10-second takedown. She shows up. You take a deep breath, stay cool, and hit her with the surgical precision of someone who's over-begging for scraps. Sorry, I'm only making time for people who bring something to the table. Boom. 10 seconds. One line. And her world starts crumbling. Because you didn't just reply, you held up a mirror and showed her the powers switch sides. That line hits on 3 levels. Straight up rejection, and a woman who thrives on worship can't handle that. She expected you to melt. You froze instead. Glow up energy. She sees the guy who used to grovel for a "hey" is dead. In his place is a man who demands mutual effort. Permanent loss. She realizes she's locked out of what used to be free. Your time, your attention, your validation. This isn't revenge. It's finesse. You don't curse, don't ghost dramatically, don't write a novel. You give her what she gave you. Emotional distance, but with class. And that burns. Because compliments fade, but dignified dismissal sticks forever. So, when she comes crawling back, and she will, they always do, be ready. Not to roll out the red carpet, but to show that now, only those who add value get a seat. And you've finally learned the difference between attention and self-sabotage. Deliver the 10-second takedown and watch her inflated ego collapse without you raising your voice. Number 6, self-esteem. The shield against her silent treatment. Why does her ghosting hit you like a freight train? Because you're still running on empty emotionally. Because you're still convinced the world spins on other people's reactions. Her silence feels like a verdict on your worth. Hard truth, it's not. It's just her proving she can't spot a complete man in you, sadly still acting like a fraction. When your self-esteem's in the gutter, even an ignored like feels like a Shakespearean tragedy. You read "seen but no reply" like it's a death sentence for your existence. But it's not about her, it's about you. Because someone with real self-esteem sees that silence and thinks, "Oh, she's busy? Cool, I'm busy too, being my own hype man." Real self-esteem isn't about being cocky. It's about knowing yourself. It's realizing you don't need anyone's validation to confirm you're enough. It's quitting the chase for people who only show up to stroke their own ego. As long as you need her reply to feel worthy, you're on a leash. As long as you need her good morning to start your day right, you're selling your peace for pocket change. That's not love. That's emotional servitude. And the worst part, you think you're being romantic, that you're proving your worth. Nah, you're throwing yourself on the floor, hoping someone deems you worth noticing. But the truth is, someone who sees themselves as a prize doesn't give themselves away for free. They don't chase. They don't beg. They choose. Self-esteem is the armor that keeps you out of other people's emotional circus. It's what turns silence into a signal, not a sentence. It's what makes you realize that someone who ghosts you is doing you a favor, showing you they never deserved a spot at your table. So, if you're still crying over her silence, it's because you're still living in a void. The day you wake up with real self-esteem, it won't be her ignoring you. It'll be you looking at her and thinking, you're not even missed. Build that armor. Because when it's solid, no "hey stranger" can crack it. No ignored story can shake you. And no absence can make you forget who you are. Someone who truly loves themselves doesn't rely on someone who doesn't know how to love. Number 7, turn her silence into personal focus. The classic move, she ghosts and you're paralyzed, staring at your phone like it's a crystal ball that'll reveal her feelings, overanalyzing texts, decoding emojis, searching for meaning in a LOL drier than the Sahara, looking for fault where there's only disinterest. Meanwhile, where's she at? Living it up, laughing, soaking up attention from a dozen other suckers. And you, wondering if your good morning needed more pizzazz. Truth is, you're burning your life force trying to crack the code of someone who's already left the chat. What should you be doing? Focusing on you. Because her silence, instead of burying your self-esteem, should be the spark that lights your transformation. Wanna cry? Cry. But then get up, look in the mirror, and get to work. Hit the gym. Crack open a book. Study. Stack some cash. Build a man so solid that her ghosting isn't a wound. It's just a gap you fill with growth. It's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about channeling the pain. Because pain, used right, becomes strength, becomes focus, becomes discipline, becomes, I lost myself for you, but now I'm back, and I'm never abandoning me again. And guess what? She'll come back. They always do. With that "hey stranger" and a flirty emoji, thinking you're still stuck in her orbit. But you're not. You're on a new level, a new vibe, a frequency she can't even tune into anymore. And that, my guy, is the real win. Not because she wants you again, because you don't need her anymore. Because you grew so much in the time she ignored you that she's just a cameo in a chapter you've already closed. So lock this in. Silence isn't filled with desperation. It's filled with purpose. And a man who uses that silence to sharpen himself becomes a monument. Untouchable. Unstoppable. And way out of reach for someone who thought they could ghost and waltz back whenever. The question is, you gonna keep waiting for her reply, or become the reply? Number 8, her reaction. When you ghost. Think she didn't notice when you vanished? That when you stopped liking her motivational selfie posts, quit sending good morning with heart emojis, she just carried on unbothered? Cute. Naive, but cute. Truth is, she feels it. Fast. Because a woman who thrives on attention notices its absence like an addict in withdrawal. She's used to being the star, the queen, the lead in a show where you were the starry-eyed extra. When the extra bails, the script shakes. Her ego hits a quiet panic. First, denial. Oh, he's probably just busy. Sure, busy living his best life without her. Then, irritation masked as indifference. Who does he think he is ignoring me? And then, the test. Because her ego won't chill until it tries to reclaim control. She throws out bait, reacts to a story, likes a post from months ago, sends a yo like she just stumbled across you by chance. And this, my man, is where you show who you've become. If you reply like the old you, all eager and desperate like a dog reuniting with its owner, congrats, you fell for it. She's back in charge, laughing inside, and ready to ghost again. Because the game was always about power, not missing you for real. But if you keep your cool, reply with the swagger of someone who doesn't need to prove a thing, or just ignore her, that's when the meltdown starts. Because women aren't wired to handle being ignored by someone they thought they had on lock. Her ego cracks. And the more she sees you thriving, looking sharper, more focused, living your life, the more she spirals. Why? Because she doesn't see the lovesick fool anymore. She sees a man who rose from the ashes, who stopped begging for scraps and started serving himself a feast. And that stings, because she lost control. Worse, she lost access. You became the silence that roars, the absence that weighs heavy, the void she can't fill. Because now the show's over, the curtain's down, and the audience she expected, they're giving you a standing ovation. Number 9. The new rule only reply to those who add value. Enough! Recess is over! New rule. Only reply to those who bring something to the table. No exceptions, no backsliding, no, but she's different. She's not. If she doesn't add, she subtracts. And if she subtracts, she's out of your life's equation. Get this through your head. Attention is power. Every time you give it to someone who only shows up to stroke their own ego, you're not being kind or polite. You're being a fool. A deluxe emotional sucker, handing out gold to someone who gives you rusty scraps in return. She ghosted, ignored you, popped up with a random "hey," and you reply like it's a rom-com reunion? Congrats. You just reinforced her behavior, proved your attentions got free shipping, even after days of silence. That's not kindness. It's weakness dressed up as manners. The new rule is simple. Doesn't add value. Cut them off. Doesn't respect your time. Ignore. Doesn't match your effort. Block emotionally. No drama. No essays. No, let's talk about what happened. Nothing happened. You just finally clocked your own worth. And what does this do? It elevates you. Because women notice when a man's no longer a puppet. When he stops melting for crumbs of attention. When he only moves for mutual effort, not desperation. And then, my guy, the tables turn. What used to be a sure thing now takes work. What used to be her emotional backup is now a challenge. And nothing rattles the ego of someone who thought they owned your attention more than realizing you only give it to those who earn it. Simple, ruthless, freeing. That's the new rule. Stick to it, and you'll never be anyone's emotional slave again. You'll be the man she respects, or fears losing. Number 10. Brutal conclusion. You weren't built to be disposable, and let her wrestle with the regret. Time to face the mirror and stop playing the extra in someone else's story. You weren't born to be anyone's plan B, or the emotional band-aid for a woman who treats you like a maybe while chasing other certainties. You came into this world with worth, but you keep putting yourself on clearance, offering premium love to someone who hands you crumbs. You tried proving yourself 1,000 times, chased, texted, stayed kind even when she stomped your self-esteem with stilettos. And what did you get? A lol, a ghost, a hey stranger, every blue moon. Congrats, you're her emotional spare tire. But today, that ends. Because a real man doesn't beg for a seat, he takes it. Doesn't explain himself to someone who's not listening. Doesn't offer himself to someone who's made it clear they don't want him. And above all, He doesn't shrink to fit where he's not valued. Your new response to disrespect? Silence. Distance. Ice-cold swagger. Because you don't overcome by shouting, you do it by vanishing. You don't command respect by arguing, you do it by walking away. And you don't win by groveling, you do it by demanding the bare minimum. Respect, presence, effort. You're not wallpaper, you're not replaceable, you're not the almost, you're the never again. The man she underestimated, but who's now out of her league. And if she didn't see that in time, perfect. Let her learn from the echo of your absence. Let her feel the weight of losing someone worth more than she was willing to give. You weren't made to be forgotten. You were made to be unforgettable. Let her figure that out the hard way, chasing shadows of what she threw away on a whim. Curtains closed. You're the show that doesn't do encores.